Hey everyone, welcome back to the Part-Time Homestead. Today I wanted to talk about orchards and is it worth it? Just kind of some of the struggles that come along with planting an orchard and things that you may or may not know, things that I didn't know when I planted this orchard. And is it worth it? Because it takes some time. People will tell you when you move into a new place, the first thing that you do is plant your trees because they take forever to grow. And when it comes to fruit trees, it is true. There is a saying in gardening, 5 years, no fruit, or 5 years before the first fruit. And it's fairly accurate. So that's what I did. When I moved in here, I bought a bunch of trees and I got in over my head really quick, and they sat in pots for 6 months, and I lost some of my trees. And by the time I got around to planting the trees in January of 2018, I planted them in January of 2018. I lost a few that were in the pots, and that kind of explains why some of these trees are kind of funky in their growth pattern. For example, this one, how it just leans over to the right because it fell over in the pot, and then when it was laying on its side it started to grow upwards. That's why it's got that big old curve in it right there. But yeah, January 2018 I planted these trees. So 2018, 19, 20, 21. So this orchard is 3 years and 4 months old, and it's taken that long. And this is the first year that I'm actually going to get a decent harvest. Last year I got a harvest, basically 2 baskets of peaches from the biggest peach tree. I think it's this one here. This one was in a larger, like a 10-gallon pot or 15-gallon pot. This was the biggest tree that I had when I planted it, and that was the harvest that I got from that. Now this year, this thing is super loaded. I mean, peaches everywhere. I've taken off probably 15 gallons, 3 5-gallon buckets of peaches when they were smaller. I've been thinning it out because it's just leaning over. I got this makeshift thing here holding these branches up because they're just still, after doing all the thinning out, they're just chock-a-block loaded with peaches. So they're just everywhere. It's looking pretty good. So yeah, first year, 3 years, 4 months into it that I'm gonna get a harvest. And I can tell you, during that 3-year process, there were several times when I was just like, man, this sucks. Because you dig the holes, you plant the trees. When I first put the orchard in, I had no good way to water in it. So I was out here watering with a hose by hand. It took over an hour to water these trees with a hose by hand. And I suppose I could have set a sprinkler up, but I didn't want to water everything. I was just watering the trees. So then I finally got around to putting in a sprinkler system, which was a huge time saver. So put your sprinklers in first. Plan your watering system first, because that was, once I put these sprinklers in, the trees getting watered on a regular routine did so much better. So that was one thing that I learned. Definitely want to water your trees on a regular basis. When you're hand watering, you'll tend to water this day, you'll forget about it, you'll do it a week later, you won't want to spend the time out there, you won't have time, yada yada yada. I had several trees blow over and break in storms. So I know there's a lot of people that don't like to stake up your trees, but unless you want to replant and buy new trees, stake them up when they're young. So this is a replant. It's a pear tree. What I had here broke. I had to replant another one. That apple was a replant. That one broke. That apple is a replant. That one died. Let's see. Yeah, imagine that. This is the Asian pear. It's 3.5 years in, and it's 4 feet tall, tiny little trunk, versus this cherry tree, which was planted at the same time. all these trees right here were planted at the same time for the most part. So then I had trees die, you know, for whatever reason, where they got dry, or I have no idea. Gophers got the roots. They just died. They were trees that died. Citrus trees, you know, this one is also 3.5 years old. This one broke. It didn't break completely off, but you know, it was pretty tall and then it broke off, so it's recovering. This citrus tree died. I mean, there were several times when I was like, oh God, this is all this watering, all the effort, all the digging, the sprinkler system, dealing with diseases, you know, why is the leaves turning black? As a matter of fact, I'm dealing with one right now. Let's go take a look at it. It's a pear tree. And I have a problem. Oh, here we go. It looks like somebody torched it. It looks burnt. It's black and crispy. And it's not that this thing ain't getting any water. I mean, it is literally black. Right? So it's not, you know, I can assure you that this tree is getting just as much water as the tree next to it and the tree over there, because the sprinkler is right there. Actually, no, the sprinkler is right here. So I got to look that up, figure out what kind of disease is ailing this pear tree. I've had leaf curl a couple times, which set your trees back. I've got birds eating the fruit. There's so many things that can be discouraging and just cause you to want to give up or quit. You know, just beyond taking time for the trees to mature. But was it worth it? Was the effort, the struggle, the getting PO'd and cursing out, you know, everything and spending more and more money? Well, 3.5 years in, I can tell you that this is the most excited I've ever been about the orchard. All my trees have quite a good amount. There's peaches there, peaches here on the top side, there. This one has a decent amount of peaches in it. Peaches here, peaches up there. Where are they at? I can't see. Peaches up there. Yeah. This is an O. Henry peach. This is a multi-peach. Peaches here, peaches there. Decent amount of peaches in this tree. Here we go. Right? Up there. So this is this is a Frost, a Haven, Crest Haven, a couple others, I don't know, the tags keep falling off. This is the early one, the unknown one that I just showed you. Tons of peaches on this one. This will be the second harvest from this peach tree. This is a nectarine tree. Look at this. I got 2 nectarines off this last year. This year, it's full. I wouldn't say enough to have to be, well, there's 4 in that cluster right there. Let's thin that out a little bit. Yeah, so I still do some thinning out on these trees. But, yeah. Nice nectarines. Right? This is a white peach. There were 4 white peaches on this tree last year. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 just on this branch right here. And here. Now these were super juicy. I've never gotten a white peach from the store that was juicy. But we're going to get a decent harvest off this tree this year. Super excited. These apple trees weren't planted back in 2018. These were something I ordered offline. These are Harrison apples. I wanted them for making cider. And then 1 apple tree died, 1 apple tree broke. And I don't know if this one died or not, but see, here we go. Disease, setting it back to figure that out. So apple trees take quite a bit longer. Yeah. So my Asian pear, despite being small, look, it's got lots of Asian pears. This is a multi-Asian pear, so there's several different types on this tree. I, again, don't know which ones are which, but that's a lot of Asian pears on a little tiny tree like that. And despite my plum tree, my Bartlett pear being diseased, it's also got fruit. First year. And I did some major pruning on this. I cut this center piece off right here. And so it could have a wider growth pattern instead of straight up. Kind of a mistake I made with my cherries. But again, there was maybe 5 cherries on these trees last year. The birds picked them off as soon as they got red. So you can see lots of cherries here. Super excited about cherries. Man, oh man. And this could not have come at a better time because the price of food with inflation and everything else going up. Not that this is going to provide, you know, but it's going to be a nice little snack. And we'll have them if, you know, maybe they're not available. Lots of cherries there. And then another cherry tree over here. Some more cherries on this one. There we go. There's a nice look. Oh, there's cherries up in there. So super excited. This plum tree, this is a plum tree. This is a multi-plum, but I just want to show you the amount of plums on this thing. Look at them, they're just chock-a-block. This whole branch. Plums everywhere. So this tree has an aphid problem. Let me show you if you can see in there. You can see all those aphids up in there. All over the leaves. Something I gotta fix. But man, look at all the plums. They're just wrapped around these branches. They're just like, this one's hanging almost to the ground. It's got all these plums on it. I'm telling you, there's got to be 500 plums on this one plum tree right here alone. And then this is a Satsuma plum. This has got, you know, a few. There's a couple here. Yeah, there's a nice cluster right there. So this one's doing well. It's not as profuse as the multi-plum over there, but this is a perfect amount on this tree. It's not going to overwhelm it or overload it. There's a nice cluster. But yes, so figs in the back row. My persimmon tree seems to have a deficiency. I looked it up. I bought a supplement. I added it. But there are little persimmons on this tree. This is the first year that the persimmon tree has any fruit. It fruited last year. It almost immediately dropped to the ground. And then the fig trees, this one, no fruit yet. No fruit yet on this one. But as you know, I've been battling cicadas. Okay, so my wife was telling me that we were going to have a very bad katydid problem this year. So I'm out here at my fig tree and the leaves are disappearing. And I noticed some damage and I started looking around. I've been out here for about 20 minutes now, smashing baby katydids. They said there was gonna be millions of them and they were gonna devastate crops this year. Now, this orchard is 4 years old and I haven't had any problems with katydids before. I've only seen maybe 2 out here on this whole entire property this whole time. And then all of a sudden this year, here we go, seen all this damage and I'm like, what is doing that? And I'm trying to find one for you guys. Like I said, I've been smashing them a lot. So on these fig trees, they're just really bad. We haven't checked any of the other trees yet, but this one has been bad. So let's go over to one of the other trees and take a look. See if we can find some more. It's getting windy. Sorry about the wind, folks. Alright. So damage, but I got the katydid off of there already. Gotta try to find one. Oh, there's one. So I must have gotten like 20 or 30. So there's one right there. A little brown guy inside that leaf right there. He's a baby. Right there. Crawling on that leaf. See that guy? He hasn't gotten his green color yet. But I need to smash him, which I just did. Yeah, so that's one right there. They like to be, you'll find them on the tips by the fresh growth. They don't want to eat those old leaves. They want to be on the tips where the new growth is at. Sorry if I'm getting the camera all wackadoodle. I'm trying to find some for you guys. I should have filmed earlier and showed you everything that I was finding. But I was more focused on, actually, and I think this is the wasp. If you didn't know, figs are pollinated by a wasp. That's how the fruit grows. I think that's the actual fig wasp, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Never seen one before. But if you know, comment in the video for me. This beneficial insect, ladybug. Alright, let's go over back to this other tree. This tree had a lot. We took a lot off this one. I want to try to find some more damage for you guys to show you what these things are capable of. But yeah, I would suggest taking a look at your trees, folks. It's supposed to be a super bad year for katydids. And these things get big and they will completely devastate your trees. I mean, those were just little babies, and they're eating whole leaves off this tree, just stripping them clear and damaging them. And I'm trying to avoid all that nonsense. Some more damage. Alright. Sorry about the wind, but I wanted to show you again after I thought it was all gonna be good. Picking cicadas out of my tree. There's another one right there. You guys see it right there? So I'm gonna have to smash that guy. Yep, and he's moving around. I dropped him. So I was trying to film and do this at the same time. But this is day 3. I'm coming out to check my trees. And definitely a lot less today. Definitely a lot less. Oh, there's one right there. So right there. Another cicada. Then you can see the leaf damage. Got him. Smash that little guy. Yep. So that's 2 off of this tree. This big tree. Look. Hole in my leaf. Look at that. Cicada damage. Oh, there he is. There they are right there. On the leaf. Crawling around. Look at him. He was shedding. This guy is shedding, I think. Coming out of his skin. These guys are crazy. So yeah, so significantly warmer weather this year, and the drought apparently has got these guys, look, there's more. Got these guys coming out of the ground. I guess their eggs are in the ground. The warm weather, the lack of water has just amassed an explosion of those eggs. And there, look, there's another one. This is day 3. Day 3 of picking these things off. And they're still, I can't imagine the other trees that I'm having a harder time looking because all the leaves on them. They're pretty easy to get off these fig trees. They're easy to spot. You can just see the leaf damage and then go around and look on the fresh shoots. Try to find them. Let me get these mealy bugs. Anyways, yeah, if you live in California, check on your trees. We got a cicada outbreak in this state right now. So yeah, just giving you a little update. Day 3 of cicada killing on my fig trees. So this is, oh yes, here we go. I think this is a green fig. There's a fig right there. There's a couple right there. There's some right there. So this fig tree's got a few on it. This fig tree's got a bunch of figs going on it. Some bugs I take care of. Some figs there. So yes, it is worth it. I cannot wait for the harvest this year to taste those peaches and nectarines and plums and cherries, and hopefully this winter time my citrus along the fence line here. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's one up front, which is 8, and 2 in my raised bed garden, which is 10. I have 10 citrus trees altogether. They're all relatively small. Lemons, oranges, tangerines, limes, etc., etc. But this one right here is my best producer. And so I get some citrus in the wintertime. But it's a process. It's a commitment. It takes time and it takes a lot of effort. But stick with it. I want to encourage you, because I can tell you that the feeling that I have right now about this harvest, just being able to harvest my own fruit and have it fresh right off the tree, is great. I'm glad that it's finally going to pay off this year. And honestly, 3.5 years isn't that bad. You should plan for 5, and if you get fruit prior to that, more power to you. But stop procrastinating, get out there, plant some fruit trees. Oh, and one other thing. I did buy these trees pretty small. Gallon-sized pots or smaller. They were just twigs when I planted them. I didn't fork out the big money for the big trees, which if you do, it does really reduce your time. So my advice to you is plan for the long haul. Don't expect fruit the second year. Have a watering plan. Get it done as soon as possible. It's going to save you some headaches and save you some time, right? Plan for disease. You know, have your organic stuff ready to go. If you have peaches, you're going to get leaf curl, depending on your location, and other things as well. Just be knowledgeable about the trees that you're going to get. I wasn't. I bought a lot of things that I probably shouldn't have bought right away. And yeah, and plan for, you know, maintaining your pasture, such as mowing, sprinkler, tree, space. It's hard to get my mower in here. I mean, look at this pathway. I got branches everywhere. 3 years, 4 months later, that is the orchard.